so I can cut it at the right part to let some time pass. Hello, welcome to Everyday People. I'm your host, Dr. J. Lorraine, and this is Shantel, an overcomer. And how are you today? Thank you and welcome.
I'm good, thank you.
Listen, I understand you have gone through quite a bit in your young years, and you are an overcomer. Tell us a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your life, and what motivates you to keep going through all the adversity that you've been through.
Okay, well, right now I'm 39 years old. I will be celebrating my 40th birthday this year in October. Um, Basically, I've been married twice. Just recently divorced from my second marriage. And it's been a learning experience throughout both marriages. I don't regret either one of them because I was striving for to do God's perfect will as far as being married. I have two kids, 21 and 17. Being a single parent and working full-time, going to school full-time, pursuing a degree in Bachelor of Science of Management, and also trying to be an entrepreneur and launch different businesses that I have.
Wow, that is a lot. How do you keep up the energy to do all that? That's a lot. I mean, where do you get the energy to do all this?
Just basically organizing. I have a planner to schedule out my day and time. If I don't write it down, I try to keep a mental note of it. And also just prioritize and reorganize if need be.
What is you have a lot of goals, and they're lofty goals, and they're good goals, but what motivates you? Is it something in your past, or are you looking towards the future? What is it that motivates you?
Despite my circumstances, I just feel like God gave me a second chance. So I'm just striving for the best in the present and going forward, because with my health issues that I had in the past, I didn't have the health or the strength to get up and do the things or even think about the things that I want to think about or do now. So I just take it one day at a time and thank God for each day that He's given me to do something.
What type of health issues?
I've dealt with female issues, dealing with cervical cancer, diabetes, gastroparesis, and that's basically it. It's just a vicious cycle.
So, at this point, has those health issues been resolved, or are you still dealing with any of them?
The only thing that I'm currently dealing with right now is the gastroparesis, and I've gained 3 hours of emptying time back, whereas it was 8 hours of emptying.
What is gastroparesis?
It's the paralyzation of your stomach muscles. They don't digest or move your food once you've eaten.
What causes that?
To this day, they don't really know, but it may be associated with the diabetes. It actually messes with the nerves and things like that, but thank God I don't have nerve damage with mine.
Good. Do you think that stress may have something to do with your stomach muscle season?
It can aggravate the problem.
Oh, I see.
And certain things that you eat will aggravate it as well.
Okay. Now, what was your childhood like?
Actually, I had a wonderful childhood. My grandparents raised me along with my aunts and uncles. My parents didn't raise me, but I don't feel like that was a effect on my life for the worse.
Well, why did your grandparents have to raise you?
Basically, I just feel that they weren't meant to be parents. So it's okay. Thank God that you birthed me, and when you weren't able to do what you need to do, God just put someone in place so that, and He took care of me.
Isn't that wonderful?
Yes, it is.
Isn't that wonderful? Well, where is your grandparents now?
Both are deceased.
How may I ask how long has it been?
A few years. I think it's 2006, 2007. And my grandfather passed in 96.
Well, were you able to overcome? These are the only parents that you knew. How were you able to overcome that? Because I know death can be extremely um, traumatic when these people gave you so much love and care, and you didn't have your parents. Now you've lost your grandparents. How did you overcome that particular adversity?
Really, I just knew where they were going because they had relationships with God. My grandmother, she had a good relationship. She was an intercessor, so I was okay. And my grandfather, towards the end, he didn't always practice it, but towards the end, he accepted Christ. So I was okay with it because I know I'll see him again.
Okay. Now tell me about some of the businesses that you would like to start.
Um, I'm currently working on a couple of projects. One is Ladder Looks, and it's like a online store. I really want to pursue it locally as well. Dealing with designer labels and things like that. And also interior design, which is Keymosh Designs. And that's interior, and I want to kind of get into commercial as well.
Now, you mentioned that you have been married twice. Do you think that you will get married again?
Yes, I know on purpose to be a wife. Just practice until I get it right, I guess. I wasn't meant to be a girlfriend or just date. I think I kind of knew that early on, and then too, just always having the structure of having a family.
What happened? How old were you in your first marriage?
We got married when I was 21.
And he was 21 as well?
No, he was 5 years older than I was.
Okay.
We started dating when I was 15. I had Kiara at 18 and Kesey at 21.
You had two daughters?
Yes.
Okay. What is the most profound lesson you learned from marrying at that age and the whole experience of your relationship? What did you come away with that helped you mature into the woman that you are now?
I mean, relying more on God to know that he was just a resource and not my source. Because he was a good provider and things like that. I didn't miss anything. It just was the constant affairs, and that was the only issue I had with him.
Now, what happened in your second marriage?
Alcoholism.
Okay. Is that the only reason that you all split?
Yes.
Okay, and it's good to see you have such a positive attitude. Most women would be embittered. Now, they will go on and want to get married again, but they carry all of that baggage from the past into the present. What will you do differently, or would you do anything differently, and how would you disallow your past to affect your future? Not to affect your future.
Okay. The thing that I would do differently now, as far as spiritually, is to pray more for them. And I don't feel like I really gave them 100% of my love because I didn't pray for them. The second marriage, I did attempt to become more spiritual with God in my relationship to help my marriage stay afloat and things like that, because I knew that I had to have him in my marriage in order for it to work. As far as carrying what I experienced with both of them in the past, they're two different men. So if I choose to marry again, that's a different man.
Okay.
But he will be a better man.
Okay.
Because I wouldn't overlook or be optimistic about the signs and the things that I see beforehand while we're dating.
Okay, what are some of the things or some of the signs that you would look for now in this relationship that you hope for?
A more attentive man, detail oriented, a God-fearing man. The person that I'm dating now, doesn't attend church, but he makes sure that he have a relationship with God first. And even though he's not up under a pastoral head, he always references the Bible and go search that for himself without someone having to tell him, or he asking friends and things like that. I want a leader, not a follower.
Does he actually live by what he reads or what he says?
Yes, he purposed to do that.
Okay.
And he also, I look at how people respond to him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even with their first encounter with him, they always come back to him. And everyone always says he's a good man, he's a good person, and he's going to tell you what's right and things like that. And he strives to do that.
Okay. Okay. Now tell me about your girls.
Kiara, she's my 21-year-old. All is well with her. You know, she's just in a place right now where she's just trying to find herself. So as a parent and not being selfish in the things that I want her to do, you know, I just pray for God grace to be upon her life and to help aid her in her decisions that she want to make or choose to make, and that the decision that she do make doesn't, you know, take her life. And that's basically all that you can pray when you have a young adult going through things.
Okay. What about your youngest?
Marquisia, she's coming into herself. She just recently found her a job, and she did it all on her own. She have a lot of drive in her that I didn't see in the past, and it just took me by surprise because, you know, I gave them back to God, and I'm just seeing how God is affecting their lives now. She actually went to church last Wednesday, and she was just so excited because there was something she did on her own, and I didn't make her do it. And she actually enjoyed it, and she was telling me, you know, what the woman said to her and things like that. And she was saying that she didn't realize how loved she was because she didn't feel love. I guess because, you know, I ride them, you know, and I just can't sit back and pacify and allow you to do things that's going to be distractions or disruptive in your life and say that I love you. I'm not that type of parent. But she's discovering a relationship with God on her own, and that's what you just purpose for anyone coming into the, you know, Christ.
Does she understand now how much she's loved and how much you love her?
I think she do now. See, in the past it was passive because, you know, there's something given to you. So I kind of, as a parent, which hurts, was to back off and allow her to stay with her father, to see that the grass isn't greener. And just because you want to have your way doesn't mean that it's going to be better for you. See, now you want to come home.
Wow.
And you appreciate what you had. See, at home with me, you had your own space. You had peace in the house. You had joy in the house. You had your own room. You had food to eat. May not have been what you wanted to eat, but you had food there. You know, over there now it's a struggle because you have to fend for yourself.
Wow. So will you let her come back home?
Ooh, I'm going to have to pray about that one. I have to really pray about that one because it's not that I'm just trying to keep her out of the home. She needs to understand that it's a hard world out here. And you're not going to have the love or the devotion from me or the attention from me to always tell you, Kizzy or Kiara, don't do that. You know, it's either you're going to do it or you're not. And it's going to be consequences behind it. And I always tell them to make sure that you don't want to pay more than you're willing to pay.
Okay. Now, if you mentioned the struggle now, what do you think about this nation socioeconomic level, where we are now socially and where we are now financially or politically in this space and time that we are in now?
I feel like everything is going back towards God.
Okay.
And
what do you mean by that?
at first they wanted to eliminate prayer and things like that out of the school system, and they did. And now they're questioning, was that the right thing to do? They wanted to question creation and the existence and how it became. Now they have to disapprove all the scientific theories because God is. And it's getting better, but at the same time it's getting worse because we all know that, it's getting close to Judgment Day.
Oh. You think a lot of the things that has happened in the nation, where we have cities that have been totally destroyed by or tornadoes or fire or floods, do you think those things might possibly be a part of a judgment?
That's a good question. I don't feel it's so much as judgment. It's just showing you what God has already done in the past. As far as like in the Old Testament and the second chance when he, did the great flood or whatever. And it's just giving everyone a wake-up call.
If you could tell or speak into someone's life, what is the most important piece of advice that you would give someone living in this age we live in now to keep surviving? What is the most important thing that you can give or say that would affect a person's life pertaining to where we are right now in our history?
I just feel like the advice I would give is more like, as far as in this physical realm, learn to have emotional intelligence right now and rely on God and trust God no matter what.
What do you mean by emotional intelligence?
Like in the news and things like that, the events that happen like with just ordinary people or people that's in higher places, so to speak, the government and things like that. A lot of the downfalls that they had because they're basing decisions or doing things based on their emotions, maybe how they feel and things like that. Whereas now, you're not getting away with anything. Everything is being shown up, so you have to demonstrate discipline with your emotions as well to even survive in this time, so you don't fall for any and everything or just go out on your own and do things. Because
so you basically saying think about what you're doing, because
exactly.
there's consequences and repercussions
exactly.
behind your actions.
Exactly.
Okay.
Back in the day, you used to get away with things. You wouldn't know anything until a couple of years later. Now, when someone does something or yourself does something, it's shown right then and there. It's no time lapse.
So between seed time and harvest, reaping and sowing is a lot quicker. You seeing your dirt come before you a whole lot quicker than it used to.
Exactly.
I can agree with that. Well, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
I appreciate you coming and having a heartfelt talk with us.
Thank you.
Again, thank you for tuning in to Everyday People.
Thank you. That went well. Why your eye was watering?
Sinus.
Oh, okay.
That did go well, didn't it? That's how I want to do all Everyday People. Just script it and move from there.
It was comfortable. I wasn't tense or, That was nice.
So I'm going to upload it and